Hi, I'm Josh, and you're listening to the Chain Rant Podcast. Thank you so much for being one of the six. Today we have a great show. We have a little bit of news, a little bit of voicemail rivalry, and a nice interview with Brad from Seven Nations, one of our new friends. So we appreciate you listening. Feel free to drop us a like or give us a review on iTunes, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Josh, you know what pisses me off?
What is that, Andy?
Nobody ever invites me to play in a fucking world touring goddamn rock and roll Celtic pipe goddamn thing.
No, I suppose they really don't. Are you talking about playing pipes in a touring,
like a
touring
Celtic rock band? You know what I mean?
That would be fucking awesome.
You're telling me?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be something that it's on my bucket list.
Imagine the poontang in a band like that,
dude. You must pull so many chicks playing bagpipes in a traveling Celtic rock band. Like, don't get me wrong, they're probably
300 pounds,
well over 45 years old. But
45 years old and 300 pounds.
But that's actually, I mean, that'll be inside your age range here in a couple more years, buddy.
As the great Spinal Tap once said, more cushion for the pushing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So hey, this is what we do. I don't know if it's what we do, but it's what I want to do.
That's what I was going to want to do. Hello, I'm Josh. This is the Chain Rant Podcast. With me, as always, is my good friend.
That's me.
Whose name is Andy.
Yes.
And he's currently checking his Tinder on his phone. This is the world's worst bagpiping podcast, as a matter of fact. I think we've reiterated it, proven it, and it is now a scientific fact multiple times over. So, if you are perchance of a more sensitive listening variety, this might not be the show for you. And we're going to give you 5 seconds to go listen to anything else. You can go listen to Rab's show. You can listen to all 6 episodes of Grace Note Vortex in a row. Don't worry, they're not going to make any new ones.
Yeah.
And we'll give you
plenty of time to catch up on that.
Give you 5 seconds to go realize you don't want to do that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fuck. Yeah, thank God we play bagpipes and we don't sing for a living.
Jesus Christ, we prove that every year at the concert, don't we?
Every fucking year. So yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, I've played pipes in pipe bands for a long time. I played pipes solo for a long time, but realistically, what do you think, Fast Eddie? So it's interesting to me, like whenever I see kind of like rock groups, especially some like the touring groups that have bagpipes integrated into that. How do you do that? How do you get that gig?
Well, ironically enough, Josh, we're going to find out today how one gets that gig.
Today on the show.
We are going to find out. Oh my God. Let's tease that a little bit.
Let's tease that a little bit. Yes, actually later on in the show we have I almost threw up from Old Smuggler.
Fucking
God,
shit.
we got to stop drinking that Old Smuggler. We have a very special guest, Brad from Seven Nations, an incredibly awesome band that was recently here. And we hung out with him. We commiserated over our hatred of yellow flashes.
Yeah, we did.
And we
found a brother in the hatred of yellow flashes.
Yeah, he's a fan of the show, which is hilarious to me that someone that is actually successful is a fan of the show.
It's mind-boggling to me.
It puts it right in a boggle.
We actually have a couple people in the grade 1 world or pro level that are actually like the show. It's shocking.
I bet they wouldn't say it publicly though.
No, they won't.
Yeah, there's no way in hell.
No. They'll get in a lot of trouble.
But for those of you out there that are one of the 6, thank you. You don't have to. You can be a secret one of the 6. That's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
We can be that thing you hide from everyone, like your Batman costume you jerk off in, or that collection of 80s aerobics DVDs featuring Richard Simmons that you occasionally watch. Just a little too much.
Yeah.
We'll be your secret. we'll be the Chan and Rant will be the thing hiding in your sock drawer.
Absolutely.
But before we get into any of that good stuff, I guess we have some voicemails. We have some more messages. We have a message this week, do we?
Excuse me, hold on.
And this is from one of our past guests.
I just want to be clear about this before we go in. Yeah, we're going to have a guest on, but if we sound very drunk right now, early on in the show, but sound less drunk later on in the show, I just want you guys to understand.
You're ruining the magic here.
Not live.
You're ruining the magic.
We had this experience last week
podcast.
where everybody was very confused by the level of drunkenness as it changed and went back and forth. So
don't read too much into it, kid.
Don't read too much into it. Just trust us. We know what we're doing.
Damn, it's showbiz, guys. Like, you think we don't edit?
All right. So our first voicemail.
We have to cut out 45 minutes of Andy taking a piss.
I might leave that in. Just
leave it in.
Fucking funny.
Just put it as the Easter egg at the very end.
Yeah, just me pissing.
I mean, we don't do Easter eggs.
Josh
at the end.
singing.
What are we? What are we? A Marvel movie?
If you've missed any of them, go back and listen to some of our older shows. You might have missed something.
You might have missed some Easter eggs.
So anyway, we have a voicemail that, in response to last week's voicemail. Actually.
Oh my god, this is in response to Fast Eddie.
Yes, we do.
All right.
So this is
this is one of our former guests. Who was this?
Former guest. This is our friend Kelly.
Oh, Kelly. Kelly was very popular on the show.
Also known as Meatloaf Thighs.
Oh God. Yeah. That was Fast Eddie. You kind of dug yourself in a trench on that one.
Yeah. People are she's not happy.
I guess we're about to find out.
We're about to find out how she feels about it. But
she's not happy.
Let's find out what Kelly has to say about that. Here we go.
Well, hello, boys. This is Kelly. I hope all is well with you today. I listened to last week's episode, and I was wondering if I could drop a few words in with regard to Mr. Fast Eddie, who had some interesting things to say about me, personally. So I just wanted to tell him, thanks, first of all, for calling in and contributing to Chanaran, and I'm very flattered by his stalking abilities, because he found a 3-year-old photo of me and my meatloaf thighs, and that was kind of impressive. But, my husband particularly loved the indecent proposal that he made, and all I can say is he will see your 10 inches and raise you 2 more, my friend. And as a bonus, my husband's employed and not a drummer. So that's some good news. I did find your photo, though. I did some stalking myself. And I will send you the number of a great reconstructive dentist that takes Medicaid so we can get you all fixed up. In the meantime, do me a favor and send a video of yourself playing pipes in public so the guys can use you as an example of what not to do. I may not be able to make it to South Carolina, but I'd really love you to come to Vegas. You're more than welcome. I'm sure the guys would love it too. Clearly what we need is one more big-dicked, smart-ass, grammatically challenged drummer who thinks he's a piper. So that's all I've got to say. Peace out.
Do you think she might have been a little cross at Fast
There's a little bit of bitterness going on.
A little bit
there.
of bitterness? I mean,
did you notice at the end she said one more big dick?
One more big dick.
She must be referring to us. She must assume that we have big dicks. Do you think she's referring to us?
It must be, right?
I mean, who else? But she can't be talking about Arizona because we all know
Cahill has a small penis.
Yes, of course.
So in Arizona they grow them small, but that's whatever. But
well, Cale's was originally a lot longer. He just lost it all in that tragic accident.
The one in Thailand that he's still
the one
at?
in Thailand.
Yeah.
And let me tell you what, that is why you don't get a blowjob from someone who's on a slippery floor.
Or one who's questionably a man or a woman while you're...
Sharp teeth.
But yeah, Kelly, she was responding to Fast Eddie. If you did not hear that, Fast Eddie brought it hard and brought it long. And
as hard and long as he can muster, I suppose.
Apparently. But I look forward to hearing Fast Eddie's response. He actually sent in a voicemail, and
he sent in a couple
things actually, but
they weren't funny, so we're not going to play them.
Yeah, no, he his first week was funny, and
his first
dropped
week was
off.
Gold, and then so
he
Fast Eddie,
off.
get your fucking shit together.
Yeah,
bro.
man, try to be clever, at least. But Kelly responded, and we appreciate that.
Yeah,
and,
so apparently this is supposed to be the show for these two to duke it out.
They're just going to keep going back and forth. That would be great.
It'll be an interesting rivalry.
But it's all good stuff, I guess.
Moving on from that, if you guys want to send us any voicemails that we can potentially play on, or you can send us ones that we won't play too. Just please let us know explicitly not to play them. I think if the Dirtbag Olympics taught us anything, that anonymity is sometimes best.
Watch out for that. You doing all right over there?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. That fucking old smuggler. Oh my god,
Josh.
it's going.
Usually it's me banging into the mic stand,
It's
but
going
this
through
time
me.
it's Josh. It's going through me. Oh my god.
Yeah, so if you have any messages you want to send in, you can send us.
No, I did it. Couldn't get any better timing than that.
Oh, karma, motherfucker!
Fuck's sake.
You're in my world now, bitch.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So if you have any, what was I even doing? If you have any messages you'd like to send to us, this is going to be the point where they're like, "Why were you guys so drunk at the beginning?"
And why are you so drunk at the beginning?
If you have any messages you want to send to us, please just go ahead and send them to Facebook or send them to us at chanterrant@gmail.com. That's chanterrant@gmail.com. We will listen to all of them. We will play maybe some of them or maybe none of them, and who knows? You may get famous on the radio or podcasts
Or whatever it is we do. Yeah.
on the internet, I suppose. But moving on, we're going to bring you just a little bit of news. Today in Pipe Band News by Channeran Podcast. No, so I want to start off with this. Let's see, this is going to come out next week, so it'll be almost 2 weekends. Labor Day, let's just say Memorial Day weekend.
If all goes well, it'll come out tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. So it'll come out on Tuesday. So Memorial Day weekend. So Memorial Day weekend was last weekend, which featured the Costa Mesa Highland Games.
Which is, quote unquote, a major in the West Coast. It's not an official major because we don't really have that sort of thing. But
there are no official majors.
No, but basically everybody tries to go to Costa Mesa. There's like more or less 3 majors in the West Coast United States.
And for us, like the definition of one of our like pseudo majors is whether or not higher grade bands go.
More or less. That's correct. Yep.
So if you get a grade 2, if you get a grade 1, if you get multiples, that's even better. If you don't have to pay them fucking $10,000 to come down and play, that's even better. And yeah, that's kind of how we do the closest thing we can muster to a major on the West Coast of the United States. And the Costa Mesa Highland Games, I unfortunately did not make it this year.
No, neither
because
did
I had to fucking make money for a living.
I was supposed to be there, but also had to make money. But yeah, Costa Mesa, which is in Southern California, for those of you outside the general Southern California area who have no idea where the fuck that is.
It's the sunny part of the United States with pretty girls.
Yeah, it's Orange County, LA, basically. So, yeah, they had a fairly reasonably sized games there, as they usually do.
Yeah,
and
it's a good crack. Like I try to go almost every year. I didn't go this year. It's just a great event, really. I mean, it's fun. I like that part of the country. I like going to visit California and put my feet in the ocean and getting drunk on the beach.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, the real trick, I wish they'd make the contests like Saturday only for some of the bands.
That'd be great.
Just like go Saturday only and then just fuck off on Sunday
go
to the beach.
ham Saturday night and just, yeah, absolutely.
Not a bad idea.
They really should reconsider the way these things work. Do like everything.
The 2-day events.
Yeah.
Well, and like I know why we do. Like for example, like a lot of it is you want to have pipe bands playing both days for the general public, for the people that come in, so that they have stuff to watch. That's kind of how it works. We can.
Correct.
It's funny, that reminds me of a Facebook post that we could potentially get into, maybe not get into. I know we're kind of we had a long show planned with Brad.
Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them all. You'll listen for 2 hours.
You'll listen either way,
bitches.
motherfuckers.
Hashtag 2-hour podcast. No. But yeah, Costa Mesa is a lot of fun. I have spent several weekends drunk, passed out in the sun at these games, and they're put on by great people, and a lot of bands did pretty well that we know.
Yeah.
I guess LA won grade 2.
Yeah, so in the big news, the first time since LA Scots went down to grade 2, they competed, which is interesting because they were grade 1 before. The premier United States pipe band, as Ken Mish likes to say.
Yeah, premier is a word that's thrown around a lot, but okay.
Well, hey, we use it too. We're the premier Las Vegas pipe band.
Yeah, sure. We're the premier pipe band.
Because there's nobody else.
We're the premier pipe band of Southern Nevada.
Technically, you're right, but either way. But the LA Scots won both MSR and medley, which is nice.
That is good. How many competitors? Do you know how many were in grade 2?
I don't know, to be honest. I only see the 3 listed in the results, but there could have been more.
So they had a 33% chance of winning.
Yeah. But
that's good for them, though. I mean, I don't know what their kind of morale is after being moved down.
Well, I'm curious, actually. That I was going to talk about that a little bit because I personally think they're doing the right thing, in my opinion, by going down from grade 1. Like they were struggling a bit, and in my opinion, like let's drop down a grade. Let's get it back together and fucking work our way back up. I tried to do that in the Las Vegas band 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, and fucking everybody lost their mind when I went down to grade 5 like Brad was. Well, okay, time sync. Brad will talk about this later. But I tried to bring us down to grade 5 to like start over, and fucking everybody lost their goddamn minds because their egos are so fucking big. But in my opinion, what the LA Scots are doing is right. Let's bring it down. Let's get our numbers back together. Let's get our shit back together, and then we'll go back up.
Well, the great thing about when we did grade 5, like the thing that really made it work was we had absolutely perfect leadership. I mean, perfect pipe majorship, grade 5 pipe band.
Which was who?
That would have been me.
Oh, right.
That would have been me. But it was brilliant. Brilliant.
You let
shit.
Josh run something, and fucking all of a sudden he's a goddamn genius.
You let Josh run something, all of a sudden we win awards. I don't know, all of a sudden we win medals. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
That's a good point. You want to take over the band now?
Fuck no.
Should I pass it off to you?
God, no. Oh, God, I couldn't even imagine.
Oh, but
I'd kill everybody.
Anyway, interesting. In grade 2, the LA Scots won both sets.
Which is great. Another interesting thing, a band that I know and I like did something that I've always wanted to do. So I can't say they stole my idea, because even though I've talked about it, I've never had the bandwidth to actually do it. So I feel like I just kind of put that idea out there and they ran with it.
Okay, what's this?
I've always talked about when we travel to events and we're not playing, like we're done playing, streaming the rest of it, just like Rab does, just like Rab does overseas. Because you're there anyway, you can just sit and drink, set the fucking phone on a tripod.
Why not?
Drink and stream. And fucking Phoenix did it, and it was brilliant. It was all good. Everyone got to watch all the bands play. I know there's debate as to whether or not you should stream these kinds of events, but fuck, I was glad to be able to watch it.
Yeah, no, they at least all the grade 3s. I didn't catch everything they streamed, but they did stream a lot of the events, which is cool.
Yeah. So shout out to our friends at the Phoenix Pipe Band for letting the rest of us watch the show. I mean, I thought that was really awesome of them to do, for sure. Yeah. God knows whose data that fucking chewed up on their cell phone.
Hey, data's free nowadays. It's all fucking the same. But
it's only free because the government wants it to be, man. Shut up, you.
Our friends in Phoenix, they also did pretty well over the weekend. They got a 3rd and a 2nd overall.
Nice.
And they're good friends of ours. Unfortunately, Cahill plays for them, and not the name band shall not be named. Yeah. But he wasn't playing this weekend. He was out of town. That's actually probably why they did so well.
He's still in Thailand. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still in Thailand getting
they actually got a 2nd place, so maybe that's why Cahill wasn't there to fuck it up.
Do you think the secret? And I know this is probably a more philosophical question.
Okay, I'm listening.
But do you think the secret to success in a grade 3 is not having Cahill in your band? Because I know since he hasn't been on the show, our numbers have only gone up. I mean,
what would Socrates say about this?
Socrates?
Yeah, he probably has there's probably a philosophy about not having Cahill around.
Philosophy of no Cahill?
Yeah. There's got to be a thing.
There's a fortune cookie. It's like a band without Cahill will enjoy many victories.
Exactly.
I can't wait for him to come back from Thailand and listen to these last 4 episodes of us bashing him.
And just hammer us.
And then try to come back to Cahill's corner.
It'll be great.
Yeah. So, shout out to everybody that competed at the Costa Mesa Highland Games. If your band did well and we didn't mention you, it's probably because we don't know you or don't like you. So fucking suck it up.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
Do something interesting and then we'll pay attention.
Yeah. I mean, we're not a news show. We're not fucking Big Rab show. And
right.
We're not Grace Note Vortex because we kept going to episode 7.
Yeah, because we actually did do something. What other news we have to talk about? I don't know.
I mean, realistically, Chain Rant podcast actually broke, what was it, 7,500?
Something like that, 78.
7,800. We're almost at 8,000. So if you're listening at home, if you're one of the 6, invite a friend that likes bagpiping stuff to listen to the show, or invite them to like the page. I don't know.
Or if they like nonsense, that's also.
I tell you what, I've had a couple people that are not in pipe bands text me recently that they've been listening to the show, and I have no fucking earthly idea why.
I have numerous friends that are not pipe band people that listen, and I don't
assume it's just because of the toilet humor.
Yeah, I mean, none of this is original or clever, or we just repeat.
It's just consistent.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's consistently stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So either way, whatever reason you like it,
we would have named the show Consistently Stupid, but it was already taken. Next time we'll name the show Bullshit Vortex.
It's a good heavy metal band name.
Yeah, bullshit vortex. So Fusco,
So let's do a time warp.
we're not gonna wait. Where are we time warping to?
I just want to talk about another piece of news.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's talk. Well, you don't have to time warp for that.
Well, if you're really clever, you'll catch on to the why this is a time warp. So anyway, the other news is that, which is interesting to me, the reason I'm bringing it up is that a band in Canada is calling it quits for the year. So as a band that's done that, we did that this year.
Yeah.
I just like to point this out that these things happen at higher levels. So a grade 2 band who called Dartmouth and District out of Nova Scotia has called it quits for the year. They also have level, I think a grade 3 and a grade 4 or whatever it is. But their grade 2 level has called it quits for the year. So, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because their pipe major is Scott Long, who was a former piper with Seven Nations. He used to play with them for a long time. And
That ties
later on
in.
in the show,
Yeah.
we're going to have Brad, who's
That
also
ties
a piper.
into
So,
our Seven Nations interview.
so, but it's just interesting to me that another, sometimes bands struggle with whatever it is, numbers, and it seems to be a numbers thing for them.
I have a question about the grades. So in Canadian pipe band associations, which I assume are slightly less useless than American ones, is the grading system similar to ours? Because I know, like when we went over to play the Worlds, there's actually a 4A, 4B, a 3A, and a 3B. Mm-hmm. Now I don't imagine Canadians have enough bands to have like a to separate that.
They don't. Yeah.
Do they just call grade 3 3A?
3A.
A long way to go for that joke.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
Oh, we're
That was
not
a
going to cut that one out.
Long setup. No, we'll go for that. Hold on.
We'll leave it.
Hold on. I got something for you.
Clang.
So,
Clang.
That's how that one fell.
That's the sound of my joke hitting the fucking bottom of the dustbin. Hey, they can't all be golden.
No, you're right. They can't. But in this case, they aren't. But
In that case, it was just shit brown.
But I appreciate the sentiment, regardless.
Yeah.
So what is the question?
No, it was just a setup. It was,
okay.
it was
Gotcha.
entirely.
You actually had
Although
the-
I will say this, like, if we had enough bands in America, we could potentially have 3A, 3B, 4A, 4B.
For sure.
But for us, our 4B is like our grade 5.
That's generally correct. Yes.
And 3B is grade 4.
Yeah. There's.
And 4A is grade 4 still.
Yeah. No, that's true. You could really narrow it down if you really wanted to, like really pull the grades apart. But then you'd have so few bands playing in each grade that
Everybody would just win.
wouldn't make any sense
Yeah.
to do that. But also the problem is that in grade, say, even in grade 2 in the U.S., the range is huge from bottom to top, like
Yeah.
to what their actual quality is. So in grade 3, it's really big. So I don't know. Fuck. It's just because we have less bands here. Over there, they have so many, they have to split them up. It only makes
Oh,
sense.
you throw a fucking rock, you hit a band hole.
I mean, they're talking about splitting up grade 1 potentially into like, I don't know if they're seriously considering, but people have thrown it out there about splitting grade 1 to like open or professional level versus a grade 1 or 1A, 1B, whatever you want to call it. So that way the bands at the bottom end don't fucking feel so bad about getting trounced every goddamn week by Field Marshal and the same 6 bands every week.
I thought the plan was to have. I thought the RSBBA's plan was to have just Stuart Little and Richard Parks duke it out in a paintball fight in front of everybody
Yeah, let's
to see who would be the winner of grade 1 that year.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, I guess. And maybe now even Chris Armstrong now, because he
True. Yeah.
blew shit up last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was.
Fucking killed it.
So it's not all down to 2 bands.
Now we have to put him in the fucking boot of a bus.
Fucking Christ. Man, we gotta figure out.
Does he listen to the show?
No, I asked him to do an interview, and he has yet to respond.
So we're not that. If you're out there, pester this guy to be on the show.
If you know him, and I know at least one listener that knows him.
It's so funny. You are also like I've almost gotten over my old smuggler hiccups. You're still in it.
I'm in it. Yeah, we're in
This is the worst.
bad form right now.
But this is a perfect segue to our interview.
It is.
Now, Seven Nations is a great band. If you have not listened to Seven Nations, one, why the fuck not? And two, like just go look them up real quick. Put this on pause. listen to a couple songs, and then put this back on play. And if you could just like repeat this over and over again throughout the day while you're sitting at your office or something, just to get those stats up, because I know there's only 6 of you that are listening thousands of times a day. That has to be how the numbers are going up. So yeah, go give a listen to Seven Nations. But we are incredibly excited to have Brad on. We met Brad while he was here in Vegas. We did not get to do the show that weekend, unfortunately, but we're going to try to see if he can come back and do the show live. And we have him calling in all the way from fucking Florida, the butthole of America.
That's for sure.
And if you're in Florida...
The taint of America, because it's got a penis and a
Yeah.
butthole all in the same state.
all right next to each other. Yeah. And, you know, if you're in Florida and you don't like us shit-talking your state, I really don't know what to tell you. You live in Florida.
I would suggest start your own podcast
Well, they
and talk
can't...
shit about
Actually,
us.
no, they can't hear this in Florida. They don't have internet there, do they?
Oh, apparently not,
Yeah.
as we're about to find out.
All right, so we're very excited for our interview with Brad, and I just can't wait to see what it's like to be a piper in a rock band, and also a piper in a fairly successful competition band.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Here we go.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen of the Chanarant podcast, it is our distinct pleasure to welcome a very special guest, the one, the only, Brad from Seven Nations. Woo!
Clap, damn it.
I'm clapping. I thought you were just going to add the applause in later, no?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I got to get
it.
applause.
I don't know if I'm going to feel safe ever again.
So, Brad, thanks for joining us today. Now, how did you end up hearing about the show?
Actually, it was actually at the Las Vegas games when we were out there playing. I was hanging out with another pipe band. I know that we really shouldn't be naming pipe bands on here, but I made a comment about yellow flashes, and someone said, I have someone to introduce to you, and they brought over Andrew.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, and he was repping for Chanarant pretty hard at Vegas, because I don't think he was doing anything else.
I had nothing else
Yeah,
to
he had
do.
nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So I was making
no
friends.
pipe band uniform on or anything. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, it's perfect. He was just drinking all the beer and trying to make fun of people who had the yellow flashes.
Oh, well, as you do. As you do.
Speaking of which, if you're out there listening to the Chanarant podcast right now and you wear yellow flashes, stop.
Yes, please. Do us all a
please.
favor.
Yeah.
No, Brad, you actually told me a story of a band that had yellow flashes. And well, first of all, you're from Florida, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you know a band down there that wears yellow flashes.
Yeah, coincidentally, actually, my pipe band that I run, I'm the pipe major of, we're getting a lot of members from that band coming into the group now.
Oh.
So they're a little bit north of us. They're about 2 hours north of us, out of Orlando and stuff. I live in Orlando. They're actually in Jacksonville. I'm not going to mention the name of the band, but
That's fine.
pretty easy.
Yeah.
But we know they're unhappy with the yellow flashes, so they're coming to your band. Is basically.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly what I told everybody. No yellow flashes. So it's safe.
What a great recruiting tool! I never thought of that.
Yeah, there you guys go. No yellow flashes.
Here we're all doing stupid stuff like doing
Open
houses and
and
friggin-
like paid advertising. All
Yeah.
we got to do is just make everyone, join the band that shall not be named. Our flashes are black.
Exactly.
We don't
There
wear
you
yellow.
go.
Yeah.
You can't even see them.
I remember a time when somebody in the band way back when wanted to have yellow and or red flashes for us.
I remember it was red flashes with white hose when I started, and
Yes.
it was fucking just awful looking.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
white hose are awful.
Yeah,
anyway,
white.
But
Who likes white
That
hose?
sounds disgusting. Well,
I prefer my hose black.
it makes me laugh considering the fact that up until probably about the 2000s, no one wore colors socks.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's funny because I remember when I started, we had it was the white Piper hose, and then you had the fucking like knit popcorn top that was like a separate piece that you like slid over it.
so ridiculous.
When I see
Here,
pictures
do you
of
want to
that
wear
now-
a garter?
Yeah, no, it really is. Like, those are essentially the most effective form of birth control ever developed.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Back when I was in the pipe band back then, I never got laid back then. I wonder if it was the popcorn tops.
It was the popcorn tops and the red flashes with white hose.
The marketing tool of the popcorn top was you put it on your doorknob so people knew not to come in, but you never had to use them. So,
Yeah, no,
Exactly.
nobody. Yeah,
What a great idea! I wonder who came up with
yeah.
it.
that's like one of those pieces of the uniform you just try to intentionally forget on game day, so then nobody has to wear them.
Oops, sorry, pipe major, I
it's like,
forgot
sorry,
mine.
guys.
Oh man, that's the way I feel about the red pipe major sash. Someone handed me one of those one time, And I was like, yeah, this is going to stay in my house. So
Yep, exactly.
This will look great in my fucking closet. Never to be seen again.
That was such a thing. Like our band 20 years ago or whatever, I remember our pipe manager at the time used to wear one of those. And
You used to wear a sash?
he used to wear the red thing that he's talking about. Do you remember that?
Didn't he?
Before your time,
no, it was
probably.
before my time. I do remember him wearing red Speedo. I remember that being a thing.
Instead of the kilt, yeah.
Yeah, he had a red Speedo on under his kilt all the time.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
this is a Catholic guilt type situation I'm hearing here.
Oh, boy.
Exactly.
Meet me in my dressing room after the show.
It's true. It's true.
So, Brad, let's take you back in time a little bit. You're a professional
All right.
piper right now, currently, or at the open
Yes,
level.
I
I
am.
mean. But tell me
Yes.
about yourself. Like, when did you start playing pipes?
Well, I learned how to play the scale and grace notes probably when I was about 8 years old. And I grew up in northern Minnesota. The closest pipe band
Minnesota,
was about 6 hours away. Oh, yeah. Pretty much, eh? Yeah. I work with a ton of Canadians, and it's like I'm talking to my family.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh. Yeah, then my accent comes out, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Thanks, guys. But, yeah, I learned how to do the scale and the grace notes initially. My father bought a set of bagpipes because he wanted to learn. And we ended up moving to Florida because he was going to university where we were at. And moved to Florida. And I found the pipe band down here, and that's pretty much how my journey started. I really went hard at it about the age of 10.
Which band did you find down there when you first?
It was actually the Rosie O'Grady's,
Oh,
the
okay.
band I run now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
It's all come full circle. Fun fact about
Yeah, pretty much.
for those of you that are listening that are from overseas. Fun fact about the United States: Florida is actually the state most shaped like a penis.
Yes, pretty much, yeah.
Second place, Oklahoma.
I've been to both states. It's pretty funny.
Oklahoma. So you're
man.
in Florida. You're joining the band. So did you do a lot of competition back then?
Yeah, up until I'd say about 16 or 17, I went really all out as far as the competition circuit goes. Did some stuff like Alma, go up to New York sometimes and the Carolinas and stuff. Never really made it out to the West Coast, but yeah, I did a lot of my own. That was my own pursuing, trying to become a better player. The band pretty much stayed in grade 5, grade 4 area. And eventually I actually left them and joined a police band, of all things.
Oh,
Considering
there
your
you
guys'
go.
love,
I'm sorry.
considering your guys' love of service band.
You know, I really respected you up until now.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I guess that's the end of that fucking interview. Let's get somebody else.
Hey,
Let's see
you
if
need somebody that knows what they're doing.
I'll see if Rad's still awake.
I'll tell you what. I was 14 years old when I had my first hangover, and I was playing with a police band at the time. So
Oh,
there you go.
wow!
Yeah.
Look at that. See,
I can't go too far into the stories of being a young man playing in the pipe band anymore. My mom started listening to the show, and she's just like, "That's what you were up to." I will say this: I've noticed a trend when you talk to people about the intense development and solo portion of their piping career, really dropping off around age 17 or 18, and I bet I could guess why.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. Yeah.
well, I have two questions for you.
Then I discovered tits were a thing.
Yeah, I discovered boobs, and then pipes went right out the window. But,
Pretty much.
so, two questions for you in regards to that. From your age 10 to 16 years, at what point between the age of 10 and 16 did you realize that you had a penis and it had a function other than peeing?
Well, I'd say about 6 months after learning how to play.
Oh,
Okay.
see, there you go.
So you got your first boner 6 months after learning how to play. Okay, cool.
Yeah, there you go.
It was a particularly good run through their quick march
There's
medley.
been two things in my piping career that have been constant: boners and piping.
What about the drinking? Hold on. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can take or leave the drinking.
Okay. All right. Well, fair enough. But so you're 16 and you touched a boob, and did you actually fall off? Did you actually have that experience like most pipers do when like Josh did when he was 17?
Yeah, like once I started getting laid.
Well, that was more like 21, right?
That was like more like 2 months ago.
No, but did that happen? Did that happen to you, or were you particularly?
Hey, don't knock the I saved myself until someone would say yes to having sex with me. It was yeah.
You didn't have our typical experience of half forcing yourself onto some
No,
unfortunate lady?
I saved myself for someone wanting to fuck me, which which just took up until 2 weeks ago.
Oh God, roofies.
So,
Anyway.
oh yeah, we're gonna get to that, buddy. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, we'll ask you about your herpes later. Oh no, I said
No,
groupies.
you said groupies, not.
Same thing, really.
So you're 16,
You can't
and
have one without the other.
did you? Were you still? Were you still like really gun ho into pipes at that point, or did anything change in that time frame?
Yeah. I never really lost focus on being, a good player. It's just for some reason the solo stuff didn't really resonate with me anymore. And when I was about 18, the band stuff really stopped resonating with me, and I got more interested into the trad scene, the rock scene, and things like that. I was also I know how to play guitar as well, and I was playing guitar in a heavy metal band.
Oh, that's how you got laid.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
pretty much.
I know it wasn't the fucking bagpipes.
He played guitar.
Well,
in
you
a
have
heavy
a metal band. You have a metal band, and you pull out the pipes like for one song, and all of a sudden everyone thinks
there
you're
you go.
unique, and then you go back to playing your guitar, and then you get laid.
I mean, I've had people ask me before, like, what's the best way to get laid as a bagpiper? And I tell them the same thing every time: learn to play guitar.
yeah, pretty much.
So what was the
Or
name of
Mickey
your?
Mouse drum set.
Well, there you go.
We still need to do a video of
We do,
a
yeah.
drum solo on
We
the
will.
Mickey Mouse drum set for sure.
What was the name of your heavy metal band at 18 years old?
Oh, it was. Which one was it? I had one that was called Burden, and then another one called Sick Room.
Okay.
Sick Room. Okay, I like that one.
And actually, Sick Room, I was actually the lead singer for that group.
Ooh.
I love how bad band names are. Like when you're younger, like Fusco. What was your first band name?
My first and only.
The first band you were ever in, like that was a rock band, because you played drums in a metal band.
I did. It was called. All right. So, Brad, do you remember the band called DRI?
Yeah.
All right. That was stood for Dirty Rotten Imbeciles. We were big
Yeah.
into those kind of bands that would use those sort of acronyms or whatever.
Yeah.
So we were called LDB, which stood for Living Dead Beavers. That was my heavy metal band.
Which I still think is the best band name that you've ever had.
Oh, by far.
You should have gone with the full name. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, we had an Iron Maiden type mascot. His name was Ned. It was like a undead
It's a
beaver.
perfect.
Who was like half man, half beaver, and he would terrorize the local farmland. And
Dude, we got to. And
Which half was Beaver?
I will say this.
the top half. He was definitely human from the waist down. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because he had to have a dick.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to draw the penis in
Yeah.
somewhere. We were like,
You guys
we're
were
15 years old.
You guys finally managed to find a creative outlet for drawing dicks. That
Exactly.
an artistic expression.
Oh, it was great. It was great. Did you guys have a mascot in your band, like every band back, like everybody's
No,
first band?
not really. Not really. With the band Sick Room, we actually did this thing where we used Disney characters as like names for the members of the band.
Oh my gosh, what was your Disney
God.
character name?
Yes, we must know.
Oh,
this.
it was just remember the movie Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah.
Yep.
So our drummer was 626, I believe, which is Stitch,
Okay.
and then I was 525, which was some guy that used his voice to like destroy things.
Oh wow.
And none of our songs had actual names; they were all just like sex positions.
That's fantastic.
I love this concept. I
Yeah.
love it.
I think my first band that actually like played shows was called Emu Love Fest. Like it was emu like the bird, and like every time we played, people thought it was emo Love Fest,
Emo, yeah.
and it wasn't. And like we were like at best maybe like a rock band. Like we were a rock band, but it was all just like fucked up. Like it was all funny songs. Like all of our songs are about like, oh, that girl doesn't want to date me, so she's probably a lesbian.
Like
or,
every other 16-year-old guy's song.
or like I accidentally slammed my dick in the toilet seat. Like and
We were emo before emo was cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it was so funny. People were like, "Next up is emo Love Fest." I'm like, "No, it's emu like the bird." Like,
We could have made it to Warped Tour.
yeah. I'm like, why is that your name? Like, because we said it and we were all high and thought it was funny, so that became the name.
That's where things go.
Yeah.
I wish pipe bands would name themselves that way.
Dude,
Wouldn't that be amazing? Like name them like rock band, like heavy metal bands. That'd be so much better.
when I first started learning bagpipes in the city of Compton Chicken and Waffles pipe band, people thought our name was fake.
No, that was real.
Yeah.
There's
man.
a website and everything. A really poor
All
90s
on the
website.
streets, man.
Andy learned to play in Harleman District pipe band.
That's why you guys have so much street cred. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know what. I have no idea what the actual question was.
We went on a
way off
tangent. We went on a tangent there.
But you were
So-
18 playing in a heavy metal band. You
He was
broke
18.
out the pipes now and
he
again.
discovered boobs. He played pipes every now and then for attention because all artists are egotistical and want attention. So then continue.
Exactly. Well, and then I actually completely stopped playing
Gasp.
for 2 years.
Oh, that's not
And
that
I fantasize about that every day.
bad. And then,
Yeah. Trust
then you
me. It was-
realize you can't buy whiskey with food stamps, so it's not going to
This is
work.
my job now. I can't quit. This sucks.
that's literally what brought me back to pipe bands. Was I went out with a friend of mine on St. Patrick's Day, and the band who I play with now, Rosie O'Grady's, they were playing, and I started talking to the pipe major at that time, and he's like, "Yeah, come down to practice. We do it here." It was maybe about 20 minutes from where I lived, and it put me back into the discipline of things, and that's how I ended up pretty much where I'm at now, where I've been able to maintain my playing style. But of course, getting with Seven Nations, it's changed everything to where I'm doing all this Cape Breton type stuff with all these fiddle players. But
Yeah, I guess that's kind of a good transition into one of my questions. So, what was this fortunate series of events that led you to joining Seven Nations? Like, how did that come about?
Yeah. Like, what did you do to the previous piper that created the need?
Where is he
actually,
buried?
we're all good friends, man. We're all good friends.
Who was the previous piper?
He actually-
Was it Scott or was it somebody else?
No, Scott was gone for a little bit before I came in, and there's this kid named Will McMorrin who, and you actually may have met, or you guys may have met. He played with the Chieftains this past tour that they did.
Oh, crap! Really?
He
So,
plays
Really?
guitar.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he plays
oh
guitar.
yeah, so we
with
probably met him.
Yeah, we probably talked shit
Yeah.
about him.
Was he the bald one, the old one, or the ugly one?
them. No, no.
Oh, he was
no,
the cunty one.
Oh, he's the cunty one. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. That actually really describes him really well.
I have no memory of this guy whatsoever.
No,
That's okay.
Yeah,
they,
no, don't worry.
they were nicer than we let on.
I don't remember anybody most of the time.
I was actually playing with the City Dunedin band. I went over to the Worlds with them in 2012, and the guy who was the backup sub piper was a member of that band, a friend of mine for quite a few years. We used to compete against each other, and they were planning this tour for Dewar's Whiskey in Texas for the release of their Highlander Honey Whiskey, which I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but I don't drink it, just put it that way. And so they needed someone to fill in for Will, because he was pursuing a degree at that time, and it was during school schedule time. And that's how I ended up kind of like stepping in, learning all the material. I literally was given 2 weeks, or like, here's 25 songs, learn how to play it, and then your first gigs in 2 weeks. And that was leading into St. Patrick's Day.
So for anybody in a pipe band that bitches about getting like a new MSR and having 6 months to learn it, try learning 25 songs with other instruments and breaks in 2 weeks, and then come back to us.
Here's the thing too, is like with Seven Nations, is I don't find the material is not particularly hard, but it's arrangements. And I was actually talking to the buddy of your guys is Aaron Shaw.
Oh, yeah.
And the first time I met him, when he was playing with the Wicked Tinkers, and we were talking about, the difference between our bands, and he said it's so much harder doing what you're doing. I'm like, I don't see it, but I can kind of understand, remembering, okay, now we're going to do 2 verses, and then I'm going to play this little bit for about 3 seconds, and then I got to hop off, and then here's another verse, and that kind of thing goes on.
Yeah.
But and luckily I've been doing it for so long that it's basically second nature at this point, and I've had to teach so many different members that have been sub players since then. That's really helped. I've been able to kind of like take the parts that were done by like Scott or Will and do my own thing to them now.
How long have you been in that band now?
This is my 5th year, going on my 6th year.
Oh, okay.
Now, I feel like we have to bring up the fact that Seven Nations was actually the band that got Andy to want to learn to play bagpipes.
That is correct.
Yeah.
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 I've been following them for a long time.
Very cool.
So he's got like just the most medium fanboy chubby right now.
Although,
I'll tell you something, Andy. Though, it's like the same thing happened for me. They actually started when I was pretty much learning how to play, and they were the first of their kind that I'd ever seen. And that's the original piper Neil. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah, no, I know Neil. Yeah. Well, I'm familiar with him during their early years.
I learned how to ad-lib his way by just listening to their records. And actually, Neil, I was actually playing with his other band just up until recently.
Oh, yeah.
He asked me to fill in for him with that group.
Dude, that guy.
At a Seven Nations show.
Neil what's his last name? Is it Armstrong?
Anderson,
yeah. The anti-piper, right? That fucking guy. This guy plays pipes like nobody you've ever seen. Like, he can ad-lib like you wouldn't believe. Like, it's shocking.
Well, some might call it makes mistakes. Some might call it ad-libbing.
Like, he did things that just didn't make any sense.
Next time I'm in a solo contest and they make a comment, I'm just going to say, I was ad-libbing, you prick.
Hey,
Exactly.
Chris Armstrong actually said one of the best things in the world. Chris Armstrong actually said something a couple years ago that was pretty good. He's like, I screw up things so bad I call it composition.
There you go.
There you go. So I'm hearing that there's often a need for sub players, fill-in players for Seven Nations. Andy, you got a shot here.
Oh my God, that would be
there you go.
amazing.
Can you learn 25 songs in 2 weeks?
Probably not. But to be fair, I mean, it's cool to have Brad on and everything, but in reality, like, if Scott was on, then I'd actually have Chubby. I mean, Brad's don't get me wrong, he's cool, whatever. But Scott's my real hero. No.
Yeah, well, it depends on who you're talking to too. You got Scott Long or Scotty Longer. Two separate people. So there you go.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh my goodness. So you play pipes for Seven Nations. It's an amazing band. I actually saw you guys live for a bit at the games here in Vegas, which I don't normally get to watch the acts, but I tried to make a point of it.
Yeah.
What does it feel like when you're like upstage and you're killing it and you're shredding on the bagpipes and then the fucking singer tries to play also and then just like totally throws it off as if he knows what he's doing.
Kirk,
why do you let that guy play the pipes?
Well, Kirk, I love Kirk and all that, and I'm actually trying to get him to play more because it gives a totally different dynamic to the band. But yeah, he plays at playing, at this point.
All right, we're gonna quote that one. Put that one out.
He plays at playing.
No, actually, back when I first discovered Seven Nations, he was still much more active, kind of like what you guys did. I haven't seen him do that in a while, but I haven't.
Yeah,
you guys never come to Vegas, to be honest. But back in the day, when I'm from Albany, New York, and they used to play there quite a bit, and he used to play more often back then, back in the late '90s.
Yeah, that's the thing is, if he did it more, he would be a great player. And I've heard stuff from him playing when he was much younger, when he wasn't doing the guitar, piano. That guy's got so many things going on at the same time while we're on stage that I'm astounded that he's able to do all the stuff that he actually does.
He could pick one instrument per day to practice and still not have enough time.
Yeah, pretty much. And he basically runs the band, all the logistics and everything himself. Getting us flown out to Vegas, things like that.
He's the booking agent as well.
Hey
man, you better check
need a band manager because band managers suck. So.
You better check your accounting.
we actually have a booking agent as well. A guy named based out of London, who I think is actually who got us hired out to play for you guys out there.
Oh yeah, that's great,
but luckily he's not. In the country.
He's not a fan of the show.
Yeah, it's a good thing he's not listening.
I don't think so. Yeah, pretty much. I can guarantee he's not listening.
So what you're saying is Kirk discovered that, much like Josh's method, that the only way to get laid is to switch over to guitar and stop playing those fucking horseshit pipes? Is that what happened?
Just pull the pipes out.
Yeah.
Just pull the pipes
out
every
once
now
in a while, and then you look cool. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, who's the smart one in this situation, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like really, a bagpipe performance is having a bagpipe performance or solo is kind of like having a sex swing. Like, it's great to whip it out every now and then, but every day it's just going to get exhausting. Like,
yeah. Even my ears start to bleed after a while.
Speaking of sex swings, Brad,
Okay.
tell us about the what is it like to be a traveling musician in a rock band? I mean, let's get to it. The groupie situation. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, Fusco's going to learn 25 songs in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I need to know
he
what
wants
I'm
to
in.
know what
Yeah.
he's getting himself into.
What are the benefits here?
Well, a groupie situation. Let's see here. What's a groupie?
That is a question that many philosophers have.
Yeah, a
discussed for
groupie
years.
is often described as a sexually enthusiastic fan.
With herpes.
Yeah.
At least HPV.
Have
Or
you seen?
HPV, yeah.
Have you seen Seven Nations fans?
Oh boy, have I.
Yeah, I want. Let's talk about enthusiasm here.
It's a lot of nerdy dudes and let's say
Yeah.
women that possibly put more calories in than they burn off on a regular basis.
Whoa, what?
We got this.
I feel like that was an attempt to be nice. It was just worse. It was just worse than just saying just say fat chicks. Like
There was one hot chick at the Vegas games that was totally enthralled with Seven Nations, and then the rest of them were Rennies, as what's her name says.
Rennies, yeah. I guess that brings up an excellent point. What are you guys doing marketing wise to increase the hot chick attendance at Seven Nations performances?
I think we've just given up at this point.
Is that like have the drummer pop his shirt off or something? Like flash a little.
Actually, that's true.
Flash a little leg.
That's a good idea, Josh. I did not see any of those guys with their shirts off. That's heavy metal 101, buddy.
Yeah. We don't even cut our sleeves off. That goes to show you what we're at now. So there you go.
Yeah, well, everybody gets older, I suppose.
Yeah, there's rock and roll, man. It ain't for pussies.
What's funny is when hearing you guys talk about Seven Nations and stuff. Is when I'm actually on stage playing with those guys, I just assume that we're fucking it up as bad as possible. We're playing horrible.
Oh,
and then we come off and everyone's
mistakes.
yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh, that was great," and it's like, really? Can I go home now?
It's always one of those things where you have a performance and you're like, oh man, that was kind of rough. I hope it's better next time. And you listen back to it and it's like, oh fuck, that wasn't that bad.
That wasn't so bad.
Yeah,
well, that's why I don't listen back. So there you go.
Well, like every musician, you have horrible self-esteem, which is brilliant, perfect. That's what makes you better.
That's what
well, yeah. It's your lack of self-esteem combined with your inherent narcissism that makes you continuously want to be better.
Right.
Because not only do you think you suck, but you want to see yourself as someone that doesn't suck one day.
Yeah. One day, someday.
That's
fantastic. Well, I gotta say, that's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool story. I wish I played bagpipes in a rock band.
Don't you though? Wouldn't that be so much easier than the competition scene that we destroy ourselves over every year?
Yeah. I mean,
man, it depends on what battle you want to pick, man. It's the same exact thing the way I see it, because doing the pipe band and doing this stuff, I have a problem with when I'm on the road. It's hard for me to run the pipe band. Luckily, I have a pipe sergeant, and actually I have two pipe sergeants that are able to run practices for me. But it's like every week I'm gone, I come back, I'm like, okay, what am I walking into this week? What happened last week at practice? So,
dude, and I'm there every week, and I think that when I'm walking in,
yeah,
I go, God,
you're there every week, sometimes twice a week.
What have they done with their time off? What oh God.
Okay, they're finally going to play their instruments for 15 minutes tonight.
Yeah,
cool.
Oh, great! You guys left practice and went home and just spent 7 days slamming your fingers in doors.
Oh, you guys didn't even bother to take your pipes out of your car. Great.
Awesome. Hey, we just had that experience. How did you
that
know that?
With fucking, I'll tell you what.
Angel Trump just fucked us.
He's like, man, my pipes are really, really hard to play today. And I'm like, well, what's changed?
What's
like,
different?
Well, I did leave them in my car in 100-degree heat all fucking day.
Well, I was at work.
Man.
Yeah. And then he is asking, what do you think's wrong with my reed? I'll tell you what. Let me stick my fist up your ass, and then we'll discuss it.
let me tell you what's wrong with your reed. You fucking baked it like a goddamn turkey for an entire day.
Oh man,
you gotta love that, and just the look of disbelief on their face. When I didn't. What do you mean?
What do you mean? I didn't do that.
If it's so hot outside that you can't leave a kid or a puppy in the car, then you probably shouldn't leave your bagpipes in the car.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
So,
especially out there in your guys' climate, man, it is so dry out there.
It's dry and hot, like the Seven Nation fans' vaginas.
Yeah, pretty much. That's actually a really good description. I'm gonna actually take that to. I'm gonna tell Kirk that. See if we'll play out there again.
put that on your website. Like, we're Seven Nations. We're dry and hot, just like a vagina.
No. Seven Nations. Our performances will dry you out.
Just one word: arid.
Oh my god! So tell us your experience, the difference between being a competition piper and like a what do they call the scene that you're in? Rab uses the term. I can't think of the name. Is it trad scene or something like that?
Celtic rock. Yeah, there's a trad scene. We're a little bit different than the trad scene.
Okay.
That's one thing that we still fight with Seven Nations is that pipe band players tend to look at it as kind of like, oh, there's just this noisy rock band on stage, and then you got the trad players that are like, what the fuck are they doing with those instruments? And we don't do like the long jammy type thing. We always joke that if a Kaylee band's on before us, it's probably going to be at least 3 or 4 hours late before we go on. So
it's like all spinning around in circles.
Yeah. They've been playing the same tune for the past 45 minutes, but hey, they're all enjoying it. Whatever.
Hey, the Grateful Dead made a living doing it. So what the fuck?
Well,
so what you're saying is if you're going to go see a Kaylee band, you should drop acid.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Bring your own lasers, though. So,
Chain Rant episode 40, the gang goes to see a Kaylee band on acid.
Oh, that's a good idea. Write that one down.
That'd probably be your most downloaded show, actually. So there you go.
Yeah. Or we'd think it was. We wouldn't know until it wore off.
It'd be like, Rab, hey, we just surpassed you. We got 100,000 likes. Look at that.
We got 100,000
They're all from
downloads.
the same person.
But yeah, it was just us refreshing it over and over again for 6 hours while watching SpongeBob reruns.
Oh, God. Actually, I'll tell you a funny story about SpongeBob. My son told me a really funny thing. He's like, comes up to me and he's like, what is SpongeBob? And I'm like, well, he's a sponge, but he's not the kind that lives in the sea. He's the one that you use in the sink at home. And he's like, oh, so he's basically talking trash.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good description right there. Pretty astute for a 6-year-old. So
You're talking trash in pants, SpongeBob.
And guess what? Your life will never be the same. You're always talking trash.
God damn it, though. Now we're going to have fucking SpongeBob right into Wispable and try and get us in trouble.
There you go. Oh, man, I'm not even going to go into that. All right.
So you're traveling the world. You're pissing off pipe bands. You're confusing Kaylee bands across the world. You're drying out female performers. Meanwhile, Fusco and I are standing in the back of the show, starry-eyed, loving every moment of it.
Yeah.
So do you play for the nerds in the back of the audience? Is that really where you get your inspiration from? Like, oh, there's one nerd out there that's going to love this shit.
That's exactly what I'm thinking every time.
Let me plow through Clumsy Lover and Itchy Fingers one more time.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
That guy in the back was just rocking out.
Let me play this thing that was overplayed 15 years ago.
Just one more time for that poor, lonely virgin in the back.
Andy's enjoying it. Look at him. He's got a heart on.
Yeah.
You can't see it, but it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can smell it, but you can't see it.
It smells big.
God. Oh, I don't even want to know.
It's not very long, but it's wide.
I actually have a question. I'm curious. So, does the Rosie O'Grady Highlanders, do you guys have an enemy pipe band? Is there like somebody in your hometown that you guys are just fucking hate and like fuck those guys?
Not
can you call them out on air?
Yeah, we'd love to hear it.
Not particularly. I mean, we deal with what everybody else deals with the players when they get to a certain standard, going off to join the grade 3, the grade 2, or the grade 1 bands that are calling.
Yeah.
That's what you deal with at grade 4, grade 5 levels. Luckily, because of our location, I've actually had this past year like an influx with basically we doubled our membership.
Oh, wow.
And people are coming to me asking me if they want to play with us, but they got this offer from this grade 3 band or whatever. And I'm like, my band's not auditioning for you to play, but you're more than welcome to come out. And luckily, we got more of a family atmosphere that allows people to feel comfortable bringing, we got a piper will bring his 6-year-old son or 7-year-old son, and he also gets interested, either drums, fucking drummers, but gets interested in drums or pipes, that adds on for later, and, more power to a person if they go on to like a higher grade band, or they decide that, we when we get the younger kids, you always have them going off to college, and moving away. A lot of times people in Orlando don't stay in Orlando, which I know you guys out there in Vegas have to deal with even more, because Vegas is a place where people tend to live.
It's interesting. People come in, they stay for a couple of years, they leave. It's very rarely to like move up to a higher grade. It's just they just move.
Yeah.
I mean, I moved.
And I was working with that one pipe band out there in Arizona, and the grade 3 band, helping them out. And there's some of them were telling me like, yeah, we used to play with the band who shall not be named, and now they're playing with the grade 3 band, and it's just the way things go.
Oh, yeah.
It chaps the ass of the pipe major of that previous band, but
oh boy,
trust me, I know how Andy feels on that, because it's like, I've had we have a guy who plays with us who's from Chicago, and he lives here going to school, but then during the summer he goes back up there.
Right.
And I was like, you're a grade 2, grade 1 competitive solo player. I was like, trust me, this pipe major is going to approach you to come play with his band. It's just the way it is. And I'm like, you're more than free to go. But, luckily I've been able to retain him. He's like, no, this is where I'm at. This is the band. He's only ever played with 2 bands in his life, us and the band in Chicago. So, he's it's hard to find that. It's hard to find that nowadays, though.
Yeah, that kind of loyalty that way. Tough. Yeah.
I mean, I've been approached by other bands. I'm just too lazy to travel for practice.
Well, yeah, but this guy, he lives in Chicago in the summer, so it wouldn't be that hard for him.
Yeah. Like when I have bands that are different grades approach me, and they're like, oh, like you should come play with us. Like, practice, you can only come like once a month to practice, whatever. I'm like, yeah, but I still have to drive like 5 fucking hours each way. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
Don't be wrong, that sounds great and all, but I got shit to do.
Well, I've got in Orlando, we've got 2 service bands. We got a firefighter band and a police sheriff's band. And it used to be that we'd have like people that would like learn how to play the scale, and all of a sudden they leave and they join the service band because they're allowed to play Amazing Grace with them or something,
Yeah.
And it's like they'll come to me a couple of years later like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I'm not getting any better. I'm like, well, what do you think? You learn how to play the scale, and then all of a sudden you're playing tunes. It's not how it works in the real world, So we've had a couple players come back, and I've had to be like, I'm sorry, I got to teach you how to play all over again, almost.
Oh yeah, definitely had that.
That's a thing. Yeah, that happens a lot. Because hey, I want to learn to play bagpipes. Okay, take lessons. They take lessons up until about a D throw, and maybe like now they have Amazing Grace and Scotland the Brave almost under their belt. And they're like, all right, I'm good. Bye. That's all I needed. Well, it's like, well, you're playing those really horribly, and you're out of tune. Bye bye.
Well, it's like I hear from groups that like people have left us to go play for that. The atmosphere over there is my band's a competing band, and therefore you're going to be forced to compete, and that's couldn't be any further from the truth as far as I'm concerned. My band competes as a result of us practicing together, getting better.
Right.
I could take or leave competition as far as that goes, because I still find it's astounding to me. And working with the rock bands, all the guys in like the fiddle player, the drummer are like, how do you guys compete in music? It's like it's a very foreign subject to a lot of musicians. Like, how do you compete? It's all subjective.
It's highly subjective.
To a certain point, grade 5, yeah. Are you playing your grace notes together? Yeah. That kind of thing is your tone. Obviously in grade 5, you're going to have guys who don't know how to blow a steady, keep their tone steady. And that hopefully helps people progress. But, for me, it's like, I just want to make really good music with the guys that I'm teaching, I'm leading. And if they want to compete, that's up to them. It's not up to me if the band competes. I just, it's a byproduct of the work that they put in. And luckily, that's the reason why I think we're progressing. I did the thing spinning my wheels with them for years, for about 4 years now. And, I would get to a point where the band's about to go from grade 5 to grade 4, because I took it down to grade 5 when I took over. I'm like, we're starting over from step 1 to where these guys progress with my teaching program. And we would get up to the point where we're about to go into grade 4, then all of a sudden 3 of my members leave. So I'm down to minimum numbers again.
Mm-hmm.
And to make a competition band work, you have to have at least a couple more than minimum numbers, because if someone's got to work that Saturday, you're pretty much screwed, And
Boy, this sounds.
I mean, we're still dealing with that almost with the drummer situation.
Yeah,
but,
this sounds
exactly our
insanely
story.
familiar.
yeah,
Even though it's thousands of miles away, like it's so much of the same thing of like, okay, like now we have to start over. Like we need to take it down to the very basics.
Yep. Every band goes through the same dynamics, and I've been in bands that have to start out. The police band I played with, we had to start out at grade 5 because we were a brand new band. But I mean, our first competition we went out, we got above grade levels because the members that we have in the band are all grade 1 professional players.
Oh, wow.
And we tried telling the games that, and I actually did that this past year with my band. I've got grade 2 or above solo players playing in the band, and I'm like, this isn't fair to the grade 5 bands we're going to be competing against, and the association we're associated with denied the upgrade, and so we went out this year and pretty much cleaned up, and I actually ended up getting an influx of players because of it, So it's a weird dynamic how people you can't figure out how people's brains works when it comes to these things. It's not sometimes it's not technically the bigger better deal of I get to go play with a grade 1 band. It's there's a service band over here that I just have to show up at a gig and I'm good. We go get drunk and we party and we're happy.
Right.
It's not about progressing as a player, and that's even harder to contend with. It's like at the games I don't allow my members to drink before a contest, and because I've seen the ramifications of that. There's a reason why that rule was enacted when I took over the band, because guys were getting so shit faced that I'm like, how are we supposed to compete? I'm going to have to cut you, and then you're going to ask me why I'm cutting you.
Yeah. I tried that once. It was fucking mutiny. I tried. No, I had a rule no drinking before, like way back when. 8
Well, here's
years
the
ago.
thing. The way I see it is, don't drink before a contest, just so you have your wits about you. And after the contest, it's all free game at that point. Luckily in grade 5, you've got 3 hours before the day's over. To go get shit faced if you want to.
You got plenty of time to get shit faced.
I usually, depending on the contest, I will usually accept, like personally, I will have I'll be okay with a nip, like a nip of whiskey from a flask or something like that, but never like a full fucking drink.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Like a little to
fine.
kind of numb the tongue and get a little bit of the taste of your mouth is fine for me, and then I'll play. But loosen up the fingers just a little bit.
Yeah, well, there's that. Everyone's got their safety net as far as how they get ready for things.
Yeah, I just have a sip of scotch and choke and jerk off.
Yeah, pretty much. If I play a Seven Nations gig sober, it's pretty astounding. That's just how I deal with playing that music. It's easier for me to drink playing that music, but when it comes to pipe band, if they want to compete, I'm serious. If that's what you want to do, that's what we're here to do. There's a job to be done. So
I will say when we were over with Ballybreast, I didn't drink before contest ever because I thought Jason would kill me.
Yeah,
no
like
rule
with the
there.
worlds and stuff.
There was a rule. There was a rule. Yeah, it was.
There was an actual rule.
Yeah.
When I was over there in
I was so drunk, I
2012,
don't
the band, I don't think I was sober the whole time I was there until the Friday night before the Worlds. The Friday night, no one drank. No one. Everyone went to bed early. We got up early, headed over to the field. We played. Then after that, it was right to the beer tent. And it was like I always laugh about the march pass and stuff. That takes like 2 or 3 hours, and it's like no one's had to go to the bathroom yet. So you see someone kneeling in their kilt, you know what's going on.
We were absolutely hammered during the march past the Worlds, like 110% drunk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a funny sidebar that this has nothing to do with anything that you just talked about, Brad, other than it's the World. So we're lined up for the march past, and we were pretty drunk by this point because we were done playing. And I had that giant, ridiculous flask the whole trip. I don't know if you ever saw the pictures of that thing. So I had it stuffed into my vest, and and we're passing it around. We had whiskey in it and whatever. And Jason says to me, the pipe manager says to me, he's like, don't bring that into the walk pass so they don't see it. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Oh, no.
So I hide it under my vest. I'm like, fuck that. We're bringing that fucker in, man.
We're getting this on TV.
Oh, we're getting it on TV, absolutely. So right as we're doing the march past, like I hit it. I don't know if he knew. Maybe he just pretended not to know. I don't actually know.
I feel like we kind of got away with murder.
Oh, we definitely
with that band just because we made up their numbers. Like they didn't.
Yeah, you guys are foreigners helping them out. Yeah.
So we're doing the march past, and I intentionally sort of pull it out of my vest so it's visible, like as we're going by, because I know the TV is watching or whatever. And and if you look, you can tell it's there, but it's really hard.
You can see it.
Unless you know what it is, you don't know what it is. But
I remember
you can see it.
Like I remember, I kept getting into it because I had brought only brightly colored stupid fucking sunglasses for the entire trip. So
Correct.
bright red sunglasses and bright white sunglasses.
Yeah.
And I remember asking Jason, I was like, hey, it's like, can I wear my sunglasses during these march pasts and things like that? And he's like, yeah, but you need to get some that aren't stupid colored.
Just plain black.
You need to get some plain black ones. To the pound shop, Robin.
So yeah, we did that. We bought black ones at the pound shop. But yeah, no. And then we used that flask, and many of the after the march past, when you're standing there for hours waiting to hear what's going on.
Oh god, yeah, that was fucking forever.
Came in very handy. Yeah. But.
Yeah, it's funny too when your band decides to go into that thing too, because we were all hanging out in the tent. We're like, should we go now? No, it's too early. It's like, but
yeah, it's like a
that's
fight.
like when they actually made everyone do this. Yeah. Who's going to be the last one out there? I don't know. Do you want to go? Do you want to go? I don't want to go. You want to go?
Unless you're kind of think you have a chance at first, you're like, fuck it.
I found the trick.
We'll get there when we get there.
The trick is definitely to take your rain cape pouch and take the cape out and just put cans of beer and flasks and shit in there, and then you'll be fine. You can last. I think I had through 2 or 3 cans of beer in a flask. I could live there for another 2 days if I had to.
Yeah. I'm camped out, man. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I would have just if I got hungry, I'd just kill a Tinder drummer and eat it.
Why a tender drummer, man? Why not a drum major? A lot of those tend to be pretty tender. So there you go.
They're very tender meat because they don't get a lot of exercise playing.
They're also
man, now I'm gonna get shit from drum majors all the time.
Yeah,
now.
well,
hell yeah.
I think that's one of the few groups we haven't pissed off. So
yeah. I have some ideas to go after them
to piss off drum majors.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, Brad, question for you: considering the competition pipe band world in the say the Grade 1 arena, do you have a favorite band? Musically, or whatever floats your boat.
Who gives you a 3/4 chub and who gives you a full chub?
I'd say, even though they've dropped off recently, SFU was the first band that I ever really was into. They really inspired me. Because they actually won the Worlds the year I started learning how to play, and that was the first time they won. And then they repeated the next year.
What year was that?
I remember 95.
Okay.
Then they repeated 96.
Those guys are absolute pros, man. They've got fucking just ice cold maple syrup running through their veins.
Yeah, they do. And I'm actually a good friend of mine, Adam Quinn. I'm not sure if you guys know who that is.
I know who he is. Yeah.
He'd tell me stories about playing with those guys, and just their organization as far as how they run everything up there is just so professional. That every band could take, even UK bands could take a page from them as far as how they run things.
Oh, absolutely.
So they've been very good.
We've been working with Jack, with the band that shall not be named. We've been working with him just for a little while now, and having kind of a look into how they organize and how they teach it's no wonder they're so good.
Yeah. Well, and the thing, I remember reading an interview with, I think it was either Jack or Terry years ago for Pipes and Drums when it was actually an actual magazine.
You mean back when the association did something useful?
Well, this wasn't the association. This was Pipes Drums.
Oh, Pipes Drums. Sorry, I mixed them up. Sorry.
Yeah, when they actually had the paper magazine, it had to have been Jack or Terry, but they were talking about their time, how they organized everything and how it came to be. Seems like it took a lot of years, and they developed themselves as far as how they ran things, doing that. the Lee legacy that will continue with that band. With Jack and Terry are pretty much the best tone producers, manipulators probably exist. And they have been able to pass that down to their kids, and it'll stay within the band. So that band will always have that with them. And they've been able to, the fact that they were able to establish it so well with a group like that.
Well, and it's just like even just watching him with like some of our newer players. I mean, you can tell they've cranked out good players for the past 20 years. Like they got a method. It's like here's what you're doing
20
wrong.
years. This has been like 40.
Well, yeah. The other thing too is you got to think of all the bands.
Yeah, absolutely.
All the bands that have spawned from them, from players that they've taught. That go on to, I believe, like the band up in Portland, Oregon, the Grade 2 band up there. I believe there's a lot of players that came through that program. Trying to think, Triumph Street is a byproduct of Simon Fraser.
Yeah.
Of course, all
David
the
Hildred was the
RMM stuff.
Yeah. Yep. So, all the players had to go through that system, but then, like, because it's a college, they get their degree and then they move somewhere else. They get hired somewhere else and they go off and form another band somewhere else. Like, New York Metro is a byproduct of Simon Fraser's program because Matthew Welch, went there.
So what you're telling us is that the Lee brothers give you the biggest boner for their contributions to bagpipes?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. From what I've seen in my piping career, they were the mainstays.
So what he's saying is one Lee brother for him is full on erection, and two Lee brothers is it's a nocturnal emission, really. Also, why did none of us name our metal bands Nocturnal Emission?
What
That'd be
a
great
name.
Yeah, there you go.
name for a
Awesome
band.
name, yeah.
So I don't know if we have to. I realize this far too late.
What's that?
But we have to send Brad the sheet music for our tune. Someone wrote us a jig.
Oh yeah, we should put him on the spot on the air so that way he can't say no.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll put him on the spot on the air to just because we have been told recently that we need a theme song so that we stop using other people's music and don't get sued. Yeah.
There's so many possibilities of getting sued with this show. So
I guess the question is how many cases of scotch do we need to send Seven Nations to get them to record the Chanarant theme song
intro
that we'll use in perpetuity forever for the rest of this soon-to-be famous broadcast.
And just to throw a little sweetener into the pot, I've been known to offer blowjobs for good reads. I might be willing to throw in a few blowjobs for.
I think for Seven Nations, you need to throw in some blowjobs and a little stinky pinky.
Oh yeah. I hear Kirk likes that.
Man.
And he's not coming on the show after that.
Well, I was going to come talk to you guys on the show, but then you made a joke about sticking your pinky in my asshole, so...
Damn it. I knew I went too far.
That's.
How do I explain this to Kirk, the offer that he was just given?
Also, could you record it and send it to us? Could you just record his reaction and send it to us?
I'll record his reaction while I'm playing the tune while he's having the reaction.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. I will send you the sheet music.
We could have the official Chanarant theme song. That would be amazing.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you agree.
Yeah.
That silence tells us everything we need to know.
Like, you sons of bitches.
Is this where I enact blueberry pancakes?
Hey, fuck. Damn it.
That's actually perfect. That's perfect timing for blueberry pancakes because we have to let Brad go. Brad, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I hope to see you guys again soon. It was great having you out on the West Coast for sure, brother.
I'm hoping you will.
Yeah, definitely, man.
I'm hoping you'll come on the show again as well. If you.
Oh yeah, man. I actually let Kirk know that you guys were interested in having him on as well, and
hell yeah,
you guys can talk to him about how unserious he is about his piping. So there you go.
we'll whip him into shape for you.
I got a whole notebook. I got a whole page in my notebook full of jokes to throw at him.
I may have a whole lot of extra time. I might not be playing with Seven Nations after that, so I can come out and play with the Las Vegas band then.
Yeah, come out and play with us after you get inadvertently fired for propositioning Kirk.
Yeah.
Our music is very simple.
That's great, man.
It'll be easy.
Well, hey, brother, it was great talking to you. Good luck with your
Talking to you.
tours, and let's talk again soon, man.
All right, man. Sounds good.
All right, bye. Well, that was our good friend Brad from Seven Nations. Dude, what a guy.
He is our good friend now.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the fact that he even agreed to come on the show is hilarious.
That's a good start anyway.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, well, that'll be the best we can do.
I have so many more questions for him, but we'll get him on another time.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I've got plenty of insulting half questions to throw his way.
Well, that's the Chainer Rant way, is you hook them in with something that seems innocuous and then immediately donkey punch them with something that's horrible.
Absolutely. Yeah. Give him a good angry dragon right in the face.
Angry Dragon right in the face. Well, I'll tell you what, thank you all for listening to this very fun and special episode of the Chainer Rant podcast. We were happy to have our good friend Brad on from Seven Nations. If you have not listened to Seven
Rosie
Nations...
O'Grady.
And Rosie O'Grady. If you don't listen to Seven Nations, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, get it together, fuck nuts.
Get on the internet, look up Seven Nations. They're one of the most ass-kickingest Celtic rock bands that is currently pissing off bagpipers and Kaylee bands alike.
Absolutely. And the only problem is when you look up Seven Nations, you're going to get a lot of bullshit about Seven Nations Army. It's a shit song. Let's get over it already.
You're bitter.
I'm bitter. Seven Nations is better. Just
so if Seven Nations covered Seven Nation Army, would you be okay with it?
Okay, that might be cool.
Be
actually,
all right. That'll be after they're done recording the Chainer Rant theme song.
Yes, let's get that done first.
Yeah.
Boys.
So if you're not following Seven Nations, please check them out on all of the internet, all the social medias, all that stuff, and definitely pester them to follow through and make that Chainer Rant theme song, because we need all 6 of our fans to really bug them with us.
Yes, please send them notes, and if you need Brad's phone number and you want to call him directly and ask for that, we have it.
We're gonna tweet that out later.
Yeah, we'll tweet that out, and everybody can call him.
We'll tweet out his personal phone number. Why not? Do you think it was fun to talk to someone who has more members in their band than we have fans of this show?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's great, right?
I mean, it's a nice perspective to know what it's like to have a lot of...
If every member of Seven Nations became a fan of Chainer Rant, we'd double our listenership immediately.
Yeah.
We'd go from 6 to 12.
How many people are in that band? 5?
I'm assuming like 15. I don't fucking know. They all look the same and they walk across stage a lot, so it's like a herd of zebra. I can't really keep track.
But they're good either way.
Yeah, fantastic guys.
Whoever's in the band, we don't know, but
great music. That's all for our show today. Don't forget to like us on the Facebook, send us tweeters, DM us nudes on Instagram. I don't have Snapchat or know how to work it very well, so don't bother with that. And Fusco's on Tinder, so you can find him there.
Send me dick pics on Tinder.
Yeah, especially dick pics. Yeah. You can follow us everywhere at Channerant. Join in the conversation with #Channerant. Let us know you are one of the 6. And as always, I'm Josh.
This is Andy.
And we'll see y'all next week. Have a good one, motherfuckers!
Salute! Oh, fucking Christ, that shit.
It actually goes well with this IPA. Because they both taste like vomit.
The IPA is shit too?
No, I mean, it's good, but IPAs are very bitter, and we're definitely going to pick out the sound of you pissing on this recording. Fusco, if you gotta pee, don't do it in front of me. There's a curtain after all. Oh, Fusco, pinch it off when you're done. Recording podcast is so fun with my urinating friend Andy Fusco.